for another Coffee with Kilroy, or what I like to call beverage in a book. Today's beverage? What do you think? Yes, it's coffee. The book? Is this a book? What am I looking at here? Well, these do come in a book format. I've covered several of these from Soldiershop Publishing. These are ones that I've purchased and come in book format, but Soldiershop Publishing, which is based out of Italy, was kind enough to send me some PDFs, and this is one of the latest PDFs that I have received and thought I'd do a quick page through. Now, as I said, these come in book format. You can get them on Amazon. You might be able to get them directly from the publisher, but the PDF format is probably a better format for this game or this book game, because basically this is a book of miniatures, paper miniatures that you will need to, print or copy and cut out and put on whatever type of backing or subsurface you want to use. And if you get the PDF, then you can just print it out on whatever you want to print it out on, and so it makes it a little bit easier. Now, there is text in here, there's a game in here, there are rules, miniature rules that are based on the period. This is play the Norman and Saxon Wars, so the rules here might be a little bit different than what were in play the Arab Conquest Wars, for example, because it is covering a different time period. So, but the rules are not, super detailed. They're not super complex. They're basically an intro into miniatures for that time period, and you have plenty of miniatures to pull from that time period in each of these books. These books are also good for if you're like a painter, if you have actual miniatures, not the paper kind, and you want to get a painting guide, then these can serve that as well. So I'm going to have me a sip of coffee. I suggest you do as well if you are drinking coffee today, or tea, or whatever you are having is fine with me. Just hope you enjoy it. So you get a cover page here. Again, if this was in book format, this would be the cover of the book. You've got some introduction materials there. And I might put a link to some of the other ones I've covered in this series so you can see what is all available. And there's usually a back page in here that will, like you see on here, there's a back page usually that shows all their different designs, and I think there's one in here as well that we'll get to. Here's your preface. So this is talking a little bit about the Norman conquest of 1066. So you're going to have Normans and Saxons and probably Vikings, I would imagine, might be in here as well. Maybe not. How to assemble, well, I say Norse folk that were invading at the same time. This is how to assemble. Each of the books have this. If you haven't noticed, you've got English and Italian. So all this is split down the middle with your English on the left and your Italian on the right. So if you want to brush it up on your Italian, or if you're Italian, you want to brush it up on your English, then you've got that there. And then the pages are, the one reason why the PDF is better is because if you're you can't cut these out, because if you cut these out, you're going to cut into the text, because a lot of these miniatures are on the back of text, or there's text on the back of them. So having these separate pages is a better way to, manipulate these. So you've got some of the miniatures there. It looks like you can do some different heads on there if you want to. Now, don't mind my printing here. I printed this off on a kind of a so-so printer on just regular paper, so your mileage may vary on how you want to print these out. This is again still talking about how to assemble these. And as you can see here, you're just going to have various units that are minis. And then it looks like this is a little bit different. You can change the head, and you can add different weapons. It looks like here you have some swords, shields, and pole arms there as well. Then there's some context in these books, which I like as well. You've got, this is the history of the England conquest. So talking about some of the major battles there. So you get some history in here. You got a lot of lone soldiers in this, which is different. Normally you have a whole line of soldiers. There's a little bit of more of an emphasis on single units here. This is continuing on with the history. Now we're getting into some group of units here. Got a little bit of a shield wall going there. And you have the front and then the back on them. So you can see that they're wearing, looks like maybe wearing some chainmail there maybe, or mesh. Then a whole bunch of shields. Now we get some mounted units. You have the Norman flag, Duke, William. Now I wonder if that's just a translation, but I have noticed in this issue that there's some different spellings on some of this stuff, and I think that might just be a translation from the Italian. So we have Norman Knight. You can get a better view there, and you get some different views there. Really spend a lot of time on shields here, so I guess you can kind of mix and match a little bit if you wanted to. So there's a little misspelling there. So all kinds of different type of units. Then you get to the game rules, again in English and in Italian. And again, these are relatively basic. There's only like a few pages, and since it's split, it might not even be a full 2 or 3 pages. It might just be a page or so, given how it's split down the middle there. So you continue on with the rules. And then you get the charts here. Here are the charts. Normally they're both in Italian, English and Italian, so that's interesting. Some of your charts there. Then you can have some solo horses that you can build out there. Then we get into the scenarios. So that's another thing that these books are somewhat good for, is that, you know, you can get a little bit of background on a specific battle that you might want to simulate. And this kind of can show you the setup and what have you there, and what forces were involved. So this is the for Hastings. And again, you just have miniatures are strewn throughout the book. You got this. There's the Saxon army. Armaments. And then Hastings the battle. And again, this is a little bit different than the other books. They have so many of these extra armaments and changes that you can do with the shields and the weapons. You can even change the axe heads here, it looks like. I mean, it's kind of a... I haven't seen that much of a accessorization in the other books. Still talking about the battle here. And the nice thing about, you know, these PDFs is, I mean, you can print out, if you want a bunch more of these troops, you can print out several pages of these guys, and then you've got them ready to go. Still talking about the battle. As you can see here, the Battle of Hastings, the information on that is more than the rules themselves. Pretty colorful there. You see those different heads that you can put on there to change up your faces. Again, that's a little different than what I've seen in other ones. A lot of different shields. There's some round shields. And these are just art in the book. So again, if you want to use this as a painting reference, then they have some images in here as well. And a whole bunch of different colorful round shields. Kind of like the pinwheel one there. Ooh, and then we get get a Viking ship here with their shield row there. That's kind of cool. Drakkar ship. some more images, and some to finish up the ship right there. Pretty cool. You can build a ship, and then since, you know, if you print this out separately, you can build as many ships as you want. Some more for the ship, and some more for the ship. And some more for the ship. So I got a lot of pieces of the ship here. You got your oars. And there you have it. That is the book. And these are some of the other books that are in the series here. I have several of these now. I think I've got, at least I know I've got those 3. Got these 2. There's Lepanto, so if you want to do more ship-based stuff, there's one right there. This is the first ship I think I've done, one that has ships involved. You got several battles here that are ship-based. There you have it. So that is all the different ones in the series, which I've covered several of them. And, you know, I've said this a lot, and probably you're sick of me hearing it, but I'm not a huge miniature person. I've never really got into the painting of it. I just don't have the skill or the patience in any measurable quantity to do that. So, oh, almost spilled my coffee there. But I do like these different approaches to miniatures and the history, and I've dabbled a little bit in miniatures, but again, I don't really get into the whole painting aspect of the hobby, but I do kind of enjoy the miniature aspect of it. And sometimes I know this is sacrilege, I don't get into the miniatures themselves. I might use counters or other things that I have, or might, you know, anachronistic type miniatures, because again, I don't have a huge set of them. But these are a way to get into miniatures without, you know, the cost and expense of all the painting and the cost of the miniatures, in that it's all paper. And so these are a little bit easier to put together and put out there. And, you know, depending on what your sensibilities are of the quality, I mean, you can use a really good printer and really good paper, or a cardboard, or whatever you want to use, and you can, you know, go to, you know, push these to a higher quality level. I mean, they're still going to be paper, but you can probably push them up to a little bit higher quality level. For me, I just kind of like messing around with them a little bit, and doing some cutouts and doing some smaller engagements just to get a feel for it. But I kind of like the imagery in these books. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. This is my, whoa, look at that. Too much coffee. I'm getting the jitters. That is Play the Norman and Saxon Wars by Soldiershop Publishing. As I said, they have it in book form as well, or I assume they have it in book form as well. I've got several of these in PDF, and I do think this might be the better format if you're going to get into this game in any kind of heavy way. I think this is the better way to deal with it. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. Love to know your thoughts. Have any of you tried these out? And if you have, love to know what you think about it. Good, bad, or ugly. It's all fair. Just be civil. And again, want to thank Soldiershop Publishing for sending me this PDF, and want to hope you all are having a great day. If you're watching this in the morning, enjoy the rest of your morning and a cup of coffee or tea or whatever you're drinking. If you're watching it in the afternoon or evening, have a good day, or hope you had a good day. And everybody, take care. Thanks for watching.